Finally, drinking water that you control. I use one every day. Say goodbye to expensive water delivery services and storing 5-gallon bottles of water in your home. The Ecola Blue 28 is shipped right to your home, ready to make close to 7 gallons a day, right out of the box. They have a 30-day money-back guarantee. Call Ecola Blue right now at 866-585-4044. That's 866-585-4044. Or visit Ecola Blue at ECOLOBLUE.com today. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start pre-sales of the Obama deception today. I'll be done with the film in a few weeks, and it'll be mass-produced and ship out on March 15th, and will also be at prisonplanet.tv in super high quality. We're getting amazing response. People are freaking out, wanting it. This doesn't attack him for the Kenya stuff, or is he really a proper U.S. citizen and all that. We're not saying that that's not an issue, just we're not getting into that. We're getting into who he's appointing, what he's doing, his history, the gun control, the open borders, the FEMA camps, how he's controlled by the very Wall Street group that engineered the implosion by design. This film is dynamic. This film is dynamic. I was up here again till midnight last night. I'm working on this tirelessly with my team. The Obama Deception, the ObamaDeception.net is the website, and it's now up on the shopping cart. We haven't linked to it on the main page of Infowars.com or PrisonPlanet.com yet, but why should you pre-order? Well, when you pre-order, the orders come in a stack, and the first person to order is the first person to have it shipped to them by UPS. And it's vital. That's why I usually make a film in 6 months. I make this one in like 3, because I have been racing and racing and racing. But it's just as much quality or more than my other films. We're getting better and better at this. And it's just an unbelievable film. It's obviously dangerous for us to do this. They come after everybody that fights them. But we're telling it like it is. He's a front man for the New World Order. So the Obama Deception is on sale right now at Infowars.com. We've got to get the toll-free line ready to take orders. In fact, let's call them and get that set up. The Obama Deception, $19.95. I want you to make unlimited copies of this and give it out to everybody you know. Going back to Sheriff Richard Mack. Sheriff, there was a story in the San Antonio Express News 2 days ago, and I see these every couple days and don't even cover them. I don't like bashing police. I know in psychology it actually makes them get more into a gang mentality group. I know that most beat cops are good people, good men and women, but I know that these boss hog towns and a lot of these big cities are criminal. I've seen it. And it just talked about all over Texas. Just county after county. They just pull you over and take your watch, take your wallet, under asset forfeiture, no drugs, no nothing found illegal. They rob old ladies. It's all in the news. I mean, it's not just bad cops or bad corrupt systems or violating the Bill of Rights Constitution. We're seeing what happens in Mexico and most other nations. They are just going completely criminal, and they're now recruiting more and more criminals into the police force, the military. We've got to turn this around now, or the whole society will collapse like Mexico.
Well, we do, and we all have a responsibility with this. We're off track in our country. We've forgotten our roots. We have gotten off our constitutional basics. We don't teach fundamentals in the police academies. They do hire people that should not be in there. And I'm grateful, too, just as you said, that these are the exceptions and not the norm. But it's happening too much. And we need people to be vigilant. And, the price of freedom is eternal vigilance. And we've got to get a handle on all of this. In my first book, the Proper Role of Law Enforcement, it addresses that issue, and it addresses how I was converted to the Constitution. And I wasn't born a constitutional cop. It came from looking at my oath of office one day that I swore to uphold and defend the Constitution, but I had never read it, so I started reading it. And I believe that when these fundamental documents come to life, for our police officers and peace officers and sheriffs in this country, that they will have the same conversion. I believe, just as you said, that most of these men and women are good people, but they have to be given proper and good information, or they're never going to change. I believe this change is possible, and in my book it addresses that. Like I told you, it documents a large portion of my case that was endorsed by the Supreme Court. And it's a landmark decision, and it needs to be used. And James Madison is quoted again talking about states standing up and counties standing up against the federal government. And it says, hence, a double security arises to the rights of the people. The different governments will control each other at the same time that each will be controlled by itself. That's a quote from Madison, which is in the decision.
Yeah, each binding down the others to the Constitution.
Correct. And so now, this is the only place in the book that it does this. So it says, to the reader, so who is charged with safeguarding the people from the federal government when it refuses to control itself? And then in parentheses it says, please write the answer in the space provided. And there's an empty line right there for the reader to put that in there. And you want your sheriff to realize the answer. And there could be several answers. It could be the sheriff. It could be the answer is we are, or the sheriff, or I am.
And that goes into the grand juries, the juries, how they've been made these kept, enslaved, in the dark creatures who are told how to rule and told what to do, when the founders in history and the Magna Carta states, even before that, 1215 in England, that it is the jury that judges the law and the case, and if they think a law is unconstitutional or it's tyranny, or they don't, because back then they knew not to trust the police and the government, that they were even above the king, and our ancestors fought incredible wars to get this basic right, and that's what everything is based on, and now they're abolishing the Magna Carta in England, and crowing and trumpeting they've done this. So, bottom line, if you don't stand up, you will be run over. Correct.
And the overall question, and it asks the question specifically to your sheriff, to your favorite peace officer: will you stand against tyranny? Well, there's only two answers: yes, I will, or no, I won't. If he won't, especially after you give him this information, then you've got to get rid of him, or you've got to move somewhere else. The second one is yes, I will. Then you convince him and show him when and where he should do that.
All right, the book covers that.
We've got to stand behind the sheriff on this.
Final question for you. You know, my life, I was a happy person, but there was this emptiness. And when I studied history and studied what was happening, my life is so fulfilled, so dynamic. It is what you're meant to do. Men are meant to guard their hut, guard their village, guard their county. This is what humans do. I mean, it's the natural law that you become usurped or killed or enslaved if you don't stand up and aren't strong, and if you don't have justice, and that justice is what creates milk and honey and wonderful societies. How has your life changed since you were a constitutional police officer and then a constitutional sheriff, and the fights you've led and the victories you've had? Most of the time when we fight back, we have victories. That's the big secret. Yeah. And I just feel sorry for those that are involved in tyranny and rationalize it, because they don't know that it isn't money or treasure or anything that life is about. It is literally about being a servant and being a protector and being a guardian, and that all of us, whether we're a police officer or a sheriff's deputy or a firefighter or a military person or a shopkeeper, we are all guardians, and that we have a job in life to be involved to fight evil, because evil is always in our society. So what has that journey been like for you?
Well, the first thing that I thought of when you said that, and I've even asked that question before, it's been a real roller coaster ride. It has been lots of ups, lots of downs, very exciting. Thrills, thought I was going to die a few times, but my wife has hung with me, and my kids have also, and I've got a good family, and it's brought us all fulfillment. And I've got the respect of my kids, because they know that I stood for what I believed in, even though it didn't bring us any money. In fact, it did quite the opposite of that. But this has never been about money. It's been about one thing and one thing only, and that is standing and fighting for what I truly believe in. And this is what it has accomplished personally, is I really feel that I've been able to make a little difference. And the good Lord put me on earth to make a difference. I believe that He's called me to this work, and I'm not going to turn my back on it. I'm not going to stop. I'm only 56 years old. I've got plenty of time left to stand and fight for this holy cause, just as Patrick Henry called it, the holy cause of liberty. We cannot give up. Friends and neighbors and everybody listening to this, do not give up. I've got speaking engagements about this very thing in Texas, where people are inviting their sheriffs and favorite cops and deputies. I've got another one lined up in Ohio. I want to be doing this every weekend, so get on the website, sheriffmack.com. I'm going to try to put my schedule on there so you know. But anyway, give me an email, sheriffmack@hotmail.com. It's on my website. Give me a call. Drop me a line, and let's make this movement. This movement can stop the New World Order. But we have got to get this information out. Get the book for yourself. Get one for your favorite cop, and definitely get one for your sheriff. And let's get this thing rolling.
All right, Sheriff Mack, I would just say this. It isn't just physical courage. All the psychological studies show it's moral courage to admit you've been manipulated, to admit you've been indoctrinated and inculcated. We're not even asking people to think the way we do. Just look at history, look at what you're doing, look at what you're involved in, whether you're a business person or a police officer, whatever it is, and ask if this country's going in the right direction, and ask what you're doing. And all you silly yuppies that giggle and